It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute. Comprehensive cutting-edge care giving you every reason to choose Hayes Med. United Rentals. Your partner for equipment rental, sales, and service. VTI. Your John Deere dealer. With locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. VTI. Our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Royal Roofing. Give your home the royal treatment with Royal Roofing. And Eagle. Our community connected. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And good morning and welcome into Tiger Talk, our first program of the 2025-2026 school year. We're certainly glad to have you a part of it. A little bit different look to the program. New day, back on Tiger Radio Mix 103.3. A little bit different format going at 9 in the morning, but we're certainly glad to have you a part of it as we talk Fort Hays State football. Head coach Chris Brown will be joining us here in just a little bit. We'll have a player guest every week, hopefully every week. It works out with their class schedules going in the morning. We'll have Caleb Heavner, Fort Hays State's junior quarterback, joining us a little bit later on in the program. As always, you can still ask a question. Go to the FHSU Athletics website, fhsuathletics.com. Click on the Fans tab at the top. You'll get a drop-down menu. That's where you'll see Ask the Coach. Submit your question. We have a question already submitted to us, but you can do that throughout the program. And if we use your question, you'll have a chance to get a T-shirt that we'll be giving away each and every week. So we appreciate the questions we've had, and feel free to fire one away during the program as we talk Fort Hays State football with head coach Chris Brown. Again, Monday mornings, 9 a.m., with the exception of next Monday because of Labor Day. We'll be on Tuesday, but throughout football and basketball seasons, we'll be on Monday mornings, 9 a.m. with Tiger Talk. If you miss any portion of the show, you can always go to HaysPost.com. We'll have a replay, part of the Defend the Fort podcast, and we'll also have a video replay, probably get up there around Tuesday or so. Jordan, big thanks to him again for the video replay, so you can watch the program if you want to do that here on Tiger Talk. Fort Hays State football, they're ready to crank it up Thursday night. Number 13, Angelo State comes to town. Should be a fun night at Lewis Field. We're going to preview that. We're going to take a look at the Tigers here for 2025 with head coach Chris Brown. As we mentioned, Caleb Heavner, the Tiger starting quarterback, will be our guest a little bit later on in the program. And you can look your best on Tiger Game Day. Do so with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop. That's where you'll find hundreds of products and designs, and they're all customizable. That's FHSUathletics.com. Click on Shop to open up the Tiger Team Store. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, head coach Chris Brown will join us. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
We had a guy that came into the bank. His dream was to own a restaurant. He was turned down from multiple banks, and upon coming in here, having a prior knowledge of who he was, we reviewed his business plan, we talked to him, and we felt strongly that we wanted to join him in this adventure. Ever since we joined with him, he has been very, very successful. It's just really nice to be able to be a part of somebody's dreams. Golden Belt Bank, one story at a time.
Back to pass Dawson. Now he'll roll to his right. Looking, throws deep. He's got a man. It's the freshman Lewis at the 40, to the Angelo State 30, to the 20, and up the sideline and knocked out of bounds near the 15-yard line. Now some of the action from last year when Fort Hays State took on Angelo State at Lewis Field. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, first program of the new year. We're in studio this year for Tiger Talk, not part of Tiger Club. You can still attend those meetings by joining Tiger Club. That'll still be Wednesdays over the noon hour out at the Robbins Center on the Fort Hays State campus, but we'll be doing the show separately this year every Monday morning at 9 a.m. We're certainly glad to have you a part of it. Need to remind you that Tiger Talk is brought to you you by BTI. They're your full-service John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. We're joined by head coach Chris Brown. MIAA Media Day, they introduced you 14th year, getting ready for your 13th season. Where does the time fly? Hard to believe, but another season right here upon us.
Yeah, I'm kind of the old guy now. With Higgins is up there, and then it's me with the amount of time in this conference right now. So it flies. It really does. I've really enjoyed my time here. It's been exciting. Some great things have happened as well. Great teams, great players, conference championships, and hopefully we can continue that this year in the season. I think we got the guys to do it because we have a very good group that's very accountable. They're very hardworking, very disciplined, and do the things they need to do to win ball games.
Well, let's talk about this team a little bit. You completed camp. You're in the preparation stage, obviously, with the game on Thursday night. Just your thoughts on camp. That could be grueling. The kind of lucked out. It wasn't terribly hot. I know you had to alter a few practices here and there because of the temperatures, but by and large, the weather participated. How'd you feel camp went with everybody?
I think it went really well, but I think it all started in the summer with the amount of kids that we had here this summer. I think there was 75 to 80 kids every single day, at weights, and it's leadership like Caleb's and Kale's and John Johnson, Jackson Calzo, and those guys that really make those guys come to weights and be there with the 7-on-7s and just the practices that they ran on their own this summer. So they got a head start. They took the lead and just made things work. And when we got into camp, kids were ready to go and ready to practice, and they were in great shape as well. But they were focused, locked in, and ready. But I thought camp went really, really well.
Well, that's a good sign. And when you look back, there's usually pretty good correlation when you've had Fort-Hays State's had some of their better seasons. There's been a big buy-in during the summer and the off season, and just being ahead of the game, so to speak. Just all the little things you have to worry about in practice because they've taken care of it themselves in the summer.
Yeah, they have. And it's hard, man. It's a commitment. Some of these kids have not seen their families for a while, but this is also their family as well, and they got to take care of it on both ends. And our kids did that. It's a true sacrifice, and it's shown that these kids are selfless, and it's not about them. It's about this team and what they can do to make this team better. And they did that this summer. I was very proud of them. I'm very excited to see this group play here on Thursday because I think it's a very outstanding group, just a great group of young men that work hard and want to compete every single day.
Well, before we talk about this year, let's kind of go back to last year. You finished 8-3. It was a great season. You've had 7 wins 2 years ago. You come back with 8 this past year, and you kind of feel Fort-Hays State football's back to the level it was before COVID hit. And it kind of had a bitter taste at the end. You just missed the playoffs. And if the current format that's going into effect this year would have been in effect last year, you'd have been that 8th team and you would have made it. But you didn't. Could you sense in the spring I know you can't be as hands-on in the summer months, but when everybody got together and you started practices this in preseason camp, could you kind of sense maybe that stuck with everybody a little bit, the disappointment and a little maybe extra fuel for the fire going into this year?
You could tell the hunger was there, definitely. They weren't satisfied with last season, but last season's last season, and we've talked about those things as well. They want to make this season the best season that's ever happened in Fort-Hays State history, which is going to be tough to do from the 2017 season. But that means you got to win a game in the playoffs, and you got to make a run in the playoffs as well. But yeah, that hunger's there. I mean, they still feel that inside of them, and we got kind of. Didn't get to the bowl game like we thought we were going to get to the bowl game as well. So, our kids feel like they got slighted just a little bit. So that just adds a little bit of fuel to the fire, and let's get ready to go play. And hopefully that happens this Thursday. We play very, very well.
Well, if we've learned anything over the years, it's every game does matter. And when you look at this year, the 2 non-conference games you're going to play, Angelo State on Thursday night, ranked 13th in the country, CSU Pueblo the following Thursday, their home opener in Pueblo, they're top 10 in the country. You're going to open up against 2 defending conference champs, 2 teams that predicted to win their league, and then there's 3 MIAA teams ranked this year in the preseason poll as far as the AFCA and the coaches go. You got 5 of your 11 games as of today against nationally ranked opponents. This could be as challenging of a schedule that Fort-Hays State has ever played. Certainly on paper it appears that way.
Absolutely. I mean, who scheduled that?
Good question.
But if you want to be the best, you got to play the best, right? And so I think our guys are up to the challenge. Yes, they're all very good football teams. We have an opportunity to play the Lone Star Conference champions, and we have a chance to play the RMAC Conference champions as well. I think we ended up third last year in our conference, but I just want to see where our guys are at and see what kind of team we have as well. But I think that'll help with the regional rankings as well, with us all being in the same region now too. So just gives us, if we win those games, it really helps our strength of schedule. So, we got to go win those. We're going to schedule those, but I want to play competitive teams, and I want to get after it. I don't want to play somebody that I know that we're going to beat. I want our guys to get out and compete at a high level every single week, and the only way to do that is by playing teams that are ranked and seeing where your team's at as well. Yeah,
we'll get more into Angelo a little bit later on in the program, but you kind of touched on it. A region shift, Fort Hays State now in Super Region 4. The Great American Conference still a part of it, but now the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference and the Lone Star Conference making up the four conferences in the region, so that'll be a little bit different. And obviously that lends more to these first two non-conference games because they are in-region foes who both made the playoffs a year ago. But just talk about that region shift. I don't know if it gets any easier or not, but it's just a little bit different look now with the RMAC and the Lone Star Conference a part of it and the GLIAC no longer.
Yeah, I don't think it gets any easier at all. Because there's some really good teams in those conferences as well that are very competitive, and just it's still got four teams, four conferences in this region, and the GAC's always going to be strong. The Lone Star is going to be strong, the RMAC's going to be strong, and so is the MIAA. So it's still going to be a tough go, but I think with the guys that we have and the things that we're doing, I think, and as a conference, just the competition that we play, we should be ready for the challenge.
All right, we're going to take another break. We're going to delve deeper into the Tigers, kind of take a look at some of the new faces, some of the returners, and go down some of the positions in the battles that took place in the preseason camp. Tiger Talk today is presented by the great folks of the Hays-Med Orthopedic Institute, offering the most comprehensive and advanced orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Why travel hours when the best in the region is right here at Hays-Med? We will take another break. More Tiger Talk coming up next here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
At BTI, we pride ourselves on providing quality John Deere equipment and customer support. Since 1944, BTI has been serving farmers and commercial operators with mowers, tractors, and compact construction equipment at an affordable price. As a leader in the ag industry, BTI offers complete technology solutions so our farmers can help keep America running. Experience the BTI difference for yourself.
Call on BTI.
Our family in partnership with your family.
There's a pass across the middle. It's caught by Allen. Touchdown! Fort Hays State. And more of the action from last year. That was that weird weather delay on Thursday night. Played Friday afternoon in front of mainly just students. But Tigers got the win over Angelo State. Ryan Allen had a nice touchdown catch right there. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. We are live in studio today. A new format on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. Certainly glad to have you a part of it. If you miss any portion of the show, you can always find the audio replay on the Defend the Fort podcast. There'll be a link on HaysPost.com and the video replay as well on Hays Post. Need to remind you, you can sync up our radio broadcast with the MIAA Network video feed. Listen to the game on the TuneIn app. Download that on your tablet or your phone if you don't have it already, and then look for Mix 103.3. Pull up the game on game day, and then whichever one is running ahead, if it's the audio or the video, you'll pause that, let it sync up with the opening kickoff, and then you can listen to the radio play-by-play while watching on the MIAA Network. Tigers opening up a new season Thursday night at home against Angelo State, and we'll get into a preview with that a little bit later on. We're joined by Coach Chris Brown, and let's talk about your team a little bit. It was kind of interesting going into last year. You had so many people back, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You graduate a lot. But then you go back and start looking, you still return a pretty good amount, but it's mainly the back end of the defense where you've lost so many players to graduation. Let's just talk about that area right now and deal with that here right off the bat. How do you feel? And I'm not going to say young guys because they're not all young guys. They're just maybe less experienced guys. How do you feel their camp went and where they sit going into this one on Thursday night?
No, I feel pretty good about him. I really do. I mean, Jackson Coslo's played a lot for us. I mean, he played a lot last year for us. He's like the lone guy in the back end right now. I mean, Michael Chavez got a little bit, got some reps last year, so he has played some for us too. But when you look around the board with the corners and the other safety, there's not a lot of playing time that's been done there. But there's been some great competition. Guys battling back and forth for positions. Keenan Turner's has done a great job of really solidifying that other corner spot. And then we got Koa McIntyre from Wyoming, and Michael Pauly has really stepped up and done a great job. We got a few other transfers. A kid from Northwestern Oklahoma and a kid from CSU Pueblo, which was a great addition as well. And I feel pretty good about it. You got Beckham and Darrell Jones and all those guys right now are just still kind of competing for that other spot. So, but there's pieces to the puzzle. We know it's just us trying to figure out who can play where and who can do what, and do we need to move some things around as well. But there's been a lot of competition. Those guys have been battling every single day, and I think it's been good for us defensively to see those guys have to battle for their spots instead of just knowing they got a spot. But I feel pretty comfortable about it. You just can't get too crazy and too difficult with them in this first game, and just let them go out there and play and let them kind of get their feet wet and fill it out, and then start playing some Tiger football.
Yeah, you don't get experience until you get experience. You do that by playing games, but just observing practice, one thing, even though they're less experienced, you may have a little more size on that back end than you did a year ago. Like you mentioned, Keon Turner, and he got some time a little bit in a backup role. He's 6'1" at one of the corners. You mentioned Darrell Jones, 5'11", 6 feet in that range. It looks like your corners may be a little bit bigger. And I know the way that defense goes in the 4-2-5. You have the rover back, the bandit back. I mean, some of those are interchanged, and as you said, probably a bit of a jigsaw puzzle right now to figure, maybe this player is better in this position than a safety role or whatever the case may be. But it appears that group has a little more size than maybe you've had in some of the past seasons.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I think the link's definitely there for sure, with a couple of these guys that we have playing there. And, it's taking corners and moving them to those bandit rover positions to see if they can play it and handle it or not. And, they've been able to do it. So there's a lot of things you'll probably see on Thursday, a lot of different guys, in the picture playing for us. But we just got to make sure that we get the right guys on the field at the right time and in the right situations. So, but it has been a puzzle, has been kind of a mess. But, the kids, I'm glad the kids make it hard on us to decide who's going to be our guys, to play on Thursday. So we'll find out here pretty quick.
Well, let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. Let's go to the linebackers, and you've had so many good ones for so many years. It just seems like you plug in a new guys. But one of them back, veteran John Johnson, back for a final campaign, and we obviously know what he can do. Two-time All-MIAA selection. It's nice to have a guy with his experience to kind of anchor that leadership role on the defense.
It really is. He knows it in and out, right? And when you have a guy that knows it in and out, he can get guys lined up, get guys in great position, and and he knows what he's doing as well, very well. So I mean, he's a big kid. He's strong. He can run really well, physical as well. So I mean, that's the kind of linebacker you want. And next to him is who's it going to be? Is it going to be Jack? Is it going to be Shady? Is it going to be Kerr? Is it going to be Myers? All those different guys that go into play. So we just got to figure out who fits into that picture the best and who's playing the best, and then play those guys.
You mentioned Myers, Gavin Myers, former Hays High Indian, all-time leading tackler in Hays High history at K-State, one of the casualties of the roster reductions. What has a player like that meant in the sense he didn't play a lot at K-State, but he's been in a Big 12 program for 3+ years now. I mean, he's a big guy. Just getting some of those players like that, and we're seeing more of it. I'm sure we're going to see a lot around the conference. Players from those type of schools end up in the MIAA, but guys who've been through systems like that, just what you observe when they come into your program at Fort Hays State.
Just that they're really ready, especially in the weight room with their techniques and their fundamentals. They've already kind of got that foundation set, and all these freshmen come in really don't have that foundation. They've been a little bit, but they're not in depth as we get with it. But they're just ready in the weight room. They've seen some speed already because they're playing against a lot of speed and a lot of talented kids as well. And the main thing is just picking up our systems, and that's the hardest thing for these guys. I mean, they have the ability. It's just understanding what we want them to do. So, and then that's mostly the struggle with him. So you get him in the spring, it helps a lot more than getting him in the summer or something like that. But like Cole was here, this spring, he was able to pick it up, understand what we were doing, and you can see that now that we got to fall, that he knows our defense, he knows what's going on, he knows his assignments, and he does it very well. So, we got Myers in the summer, so he was a little bit behind, but I think he's caught up now. But it's good to get those kids back and see them play, because they're very talented kids that if they stayed there, they probably don't get to play, right? They need the opportunity to play, and they really help us out.
And all that back end of the defense, and even on the defensive line, which we'll talk about in a little bit, it appears you have maybe more depth than you've had in years past, at least going into it right now, and just with the returners you have and the new faces, it appears to be maybe a little more depth for you guys.
There is. I think at every position we have depth, and it's just, getting those guys in there and, rotating them in and out, and then when you get to the fourth quarter, who's playing the best right now, and then you play those guys, and they should still be fresh and ready to go. So I like the depth that we have. Knock on wood, you just got to stay healthy so you can keep that depth as well. So, but it's good, and it's really good. So hopefully we just continue to keep grinding these guys and getting them better and getting them the rest of that. And the thing with depth, too, is that sometimes it's hard to get them all the reps that you need to get them in practice, too, because you want to get a chance to see all these kids and get them ready and get them prepared for game one as well.
Let's talk about the defensive line, since we're on the defensive side of the ball. You had some injuries there late in the year. Those guys are back. Parrish Terry for one, Jaden Barker another. They're back. Gavin Hazelhorse returns at the defensive end position. And you've got some guys who maybe didn't start last year but got a lot of reps in backup roles. And their roles may change this year. Jonas Smith from Plainville, certainly one of those. But talk about the defensive line, because we can talk about the back end of the defense and your corners, all those things. It seems like if you're good up front on the offensive line and you're good up front on the defensive line, you've got a chance to be good. And this defensive line, at least on paper, looks like they've got a chance to be pretty solid.
They do. I mean, they all have a lot of experience, playing the game as well. I mean, they all rotated in last year or started last year for us as well. And, Gavin Hazelhorse being a captain for us, Parrish Terry being a captain for us. I mean, those are two guys that, really need to step up and play their game and bring this group along. But I think in the middle with Jacoby Wilson and Jonah and, our new addition with JD. I think it's a very, very solid group. And, Kason Deeds played a lot last year, and now he's back as well. So there's some depth in there. And, we still got a few guys that have not played at all, but they're very talented too. And, that group's pretty solid. I told Hickle, we don't really need to even cover anybody because your D-line's going to be so good, and he hates that joke. But they are talented. They're big, they're fast, they're aggressive, and they play hard every single day. But that's probably the group that has the most, playing time as well, but it's also got some great depth as well.
You mentioned Jalen Williams, big number 99. And I'm not comparing him to Nathan Shepard, because that is unfair for everybody, because he's still wearing an NFL jersey on Sundays. But size-wise, he's comparable. He's a big guy who's going to hopefully take command, maybe double teams, and disrupt what teams want to do offensively because of his presence.
He is. And the main thing is just, him staying disciplined and doing his job and doing his assignment, and, being able to stay on the field and not just play two plays and have to come off. And so, his conditioning was one thing that we really had to work on, and we feel like he is into that. He's got conditioned pretty well, and it's the best shape he's ever been in. So hopefully he can play for us quite a bit, because he is a big young man, and he's strong, and he's physical, and he's pretty athletic as well, so which is really going to benefit our defense.
You mentioned Gavin Hazelhorse, voted a team captain at defensive end, third team All-MIAA last year, and he's had some injury issues. He's went through all of last season, through the offseason. He's healthy, knock on wood. He stays that way. But how has his game evolved? What have you seen from him? Because he's still undersized a little bit of that defensive end. But as folks here know, watching him play at Lewis Field for Hayes High, he's so athletic and so quick. Just how has his game evolved over his time as a Tiger?
He just got better. He's just, strong. He's fast. But he's really worked on his technique and fundamentals, which has really made him, the best football player that he can possibly be, and he's only getting better every single day. He's really learned the defense and understands the defense and what everybody's doing. So those things all go together. That takes time to do over time. It doesn't happen overnight, but he's really put the time and effort into doing it. So I expect him to have a great season, just with the strength and the speed, and him understanding exactly what we're doing defensively, and just his explosiveness and his physicality is really going to bring a lot to our game.
It's Tiger Talk. We're live in studio, our first program of the year. We'll talk about the offense in a little bit, but we're going to shift gears and bring in our player guest for today here after the break. Caleb Heavner, Fort Hays State's quarterback, going into the season opener on Thursday night. We'll catch up and get to know Caleb a little bit better on when we come out of the break. And to remind you, Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Belt Bank. It's banking one story at a time. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. We'll take a time out. Tiger quarterback Caleb Heavner. He'll join us next on our players segment. You're listening to Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Looking for unique flavor at low prices? Look no further than Taco Shop in Hays. We have original, made-from-scratch Mexican food, sure to satisfy an empty stomach. Take a bite out of these delicious deals. Grab a beef or cheese enchilada, bite into a beef and bean burrito, or chow down on a Sancho. Save time with our free Taco Shop app. Have delicious fresh taste in just a few taps. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Taco Shop. You've never had it so good.
Come on down to the taco shop. You never had it. You never had it so good. To the taco shop.
Their Liquor, with 2 convenient locations on East 27th and North Hall in Hays. Tiger Radio, Mix 103.3, KJLS, Hays.
Now Angelo first and 10. They hand it off to Wilcox. He fumbles. Picked up by Fort Hays State. Ty Cooper has it, and the Tigers get their first takeaway. They'll have it at the Angelo State 14-yard line. Yeah, some of the action from a year ago at Lewis Field. The Tigers knocking off the then 24th-ranked Angelo State Rams. This year, the Rams bring a number 13 preseason ranking into Lewis Field. Tiger Talk presented today by United Rentals of Hays, your partner for equipment, rentals, sales, and service. Whether it's big or small, you'll find it all at United Rentals in Hays. We're pleased to have with us Fort Hays State's junior signal caller, Caleb Heavner, joining us for the program. Caleb, appreciate you taking some time out here on this Monday morning. We asked Coach about camp and how everything went. How do you feel it all went leading into this opener here on Thursday night?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, first of all, but I think camp went really well for us. I think we showed a lot of discipline, like Coach said, we had a lot of guys here in the summer, and I think that really showed during camp. Just really proud of our guys and the way that we came in and worked. And, I thought we were sharp, but we still got to continue to get better, up until Thursday.
What was different for you? Obviously, last season you were battling for a starting job, and you didn't have it at the beginning of the year. You eventually took over midway through the season as a Tiger starter. Going into this year, you were the returning starter, and obviously it was yours to keep. How did that change your spring, your off season, and the summer, and then camp so far? Do you approach it differently at all, knowing that you're probably going to be the guy?
You have to approach it a little bit differently, just in terms of being a leader, just being a little bit more vocal. Meeting with them in the spring, in the summer, making sure you're sending text out to the team, just like when we have things. But, but when it comes to preparation and stuff, it's really the same. I've always prepared like I was the starter, and yeah.
Well, I've heard a couple things. One, that the summer workouts was pretty much a scripted practice, and you were heavily involved in treating it like a practice. So for all the new guys who were here, when camp started, it wasn't a big shock because you guys sound like you pretty much did that on your own all summer long.
Yeah, no, every Tuesday and Thursday it was a player-led practice, and we had it scripted. And I would talk to the captains and leaders on our team and be like, okay, well, we're going to do this for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then do 7-on-7 and then team, and it was really, really good for us, I think.
And then the second thing is video, watching video and preparing for the season. We heard you're kind of a video junkie. I mean, you really like to watch game film, break it down, look for tendencies. Just talk about that. Where did that get instilled in you, and just all those, video time trying to get ready for the ball games?
Yeah, well, my dad was a college football coach for a long time. So, I've just since, about middle school, I started watching a lot of film because, our coaches say it all the time, confidence comes from preparation. And so if I know what the other team is going to do, then that makes my job a lot easier. If the receivers know, if everyone knows what the other team is going to do, it makes our job a lot easier. But no, really shout out to my dad for that one because without him, I probably wouldn't be a film junkie.
What are you looking for when you're breaking down a film? Is it just tendencies in the defense, certain looks in certain situations, or is it kind of everything? What do you look for when you're breaking down an opponent's film?
Yeah, I mean, looking at their fronts, where the linebackers are, the safeties, what do they do in an open down and distance? What do they do on third and short, third and medium? When do they like to blitz? Just all those things, and it really matters every single detail of where they're lined up at. You can really get a tell.
And I'm sure, are they disguising what they're doing? Maybe give you a pre-snap look and then switch into something after the play begins. And that, I would think, would be one of the more challenging things for a quarterback to recognize some of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you always have, you got to have a pre-snap plan, but then the second that ball snapped, they could rotate, they could blitz, they could get out of a blitz that maybe they were going to bring, and that's why it's always good to have a plan, really just go 1, 2, 3, and then get to your check down. If you always have a plan, it should work out for the most part.
Let's talk about the offense a little bit. You're a returning starter. Running back will be a little bit different look without Shane Watts, who obviously made a splash getting to play some couple preseason games with the Patriots. But by and large, you returned most of the offensive line, lost a couple of all-conference guys, but players who saw some minutes because of injury there, ready to maybe assume those starting roles. Just your overall assessment of the offense, what you've seen so far through camp, and how do you feel you guys are going into this opener Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot more confident going into game one than I did going into the last game last year against Nebraska Kearney. And I think those summer practices really helped. I really think we got ahead. Even though we have guys who may be inexperienced, they don't really act like it because we've gotten those reps. And, like I can't say it enough, just really proud of everyone. I mean, we had freshmen who came in and, had some injuries at receiver at the beginning of camp, and had freshmen came in and they played well. Like, just, everyone is very on point.
Talk about the receivers a little bit. Obviously, that's for a quarterback, pretty important position. And I'd imagine that summer is big just to work out the timing, because it's not like it used to be where receiver just runs a route. I mean, there's obviously variables of what the defense does, and being on the same page, you and the receivers, expecting him to be there where he's supposed to be and you getting it to where the ball's supposed to go. Summer's got to be huge for just working out some of those timing things with the receiving core.
Yeah, no, I mean, the amount of times that I've thrown routes to all of our receivers is, I mean, I can't even count them. It's a huge thing knowing, because, if I know what the defense is doing, I can look at the defense. I don't have to look at our receivers because I know what spot they're going to be in. I know how different guys run routes, and that's really, really important just for, just giving us the best shot to complete the ball and have a good play.
And you returned some guys, although I think 2 of the top 3 receivers, one of them was Shane Watts, has graduated. There's a few new faces in the mix, but Ryan Allen back, Jabari Lewis back, Keyshawn Dooley, who got some time as the season went along, and even a guy like Tariq Logan, who didn't play a lot last year but has been in the program. It seems like there's some good depth there and some guys that certainly seem to be capable to continue. It's been a pretty good receiving core over the years at Fort Hays State.
Yeah, no, this is definitely, I would say, we have the most depth we've had since I've been here. And, all those guys just came to work, and I can't emphasize that enough, like this summer and in the spring. And, even we were out running routes 3 days after we played Nebraska Kearney last year. So, like, just those reps with those guys, like, they're all comfortable in our offense. They all think like quarterbacks too, and that's a good thing. If we do have something where it's an incompletion or something, they're coming and talking to me, and we're talking it out. Nothing's ever personal between anyone, and yeah, those guys are great.
And so I'll ask you about the tight ends. Cale Corman, a veteran, he's played in a lot of games at Fort Hays State. It seems like the Tigers have utilized their tight ends a lot. That's been a big, integral part of the offense. And I know Cade Evans was dinged up a little bit, but he's back now. Just talk about the tight ends and the role they play in this offense, because it seems like they have a big one.
Yeah, no, our tight ends have been great ever since I got here. Cale, he's a leader. I mean, we can all look at him, when things get hard and stuff, during games, he's a leader, he's physical. Cade Evans, he's came in and helped us out a lot. Those 2 guys right there, they make our football team go, and, they're our tight end coach, Coach Murphy, he's great. He's great as well, so I just love that room.
Second year now with offensive coordinator Tom Ross. You feel, I would assume you feel more comfortable, but what's it been like? Last year was all new for everybody. Now you've all been through this a little bit. The comfortability and maybe being able to expand the offense a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you can definitely tell just with him and with everyone on the offense that we're a lot more comfortable in it. But the biggest thing is just me and him getting on the same page, thinking the same way, just being more comfortable, being able to ask him more questions. And just spending a lot of time with him in meeting rooms has been big. So as long as me and him are on the same page, things should work out.
We're visiting with Caleb Heavner, Fort Hays State starting quarterback. Tigers and Angelo State opening up the season on Thursday night. We're going to have a new segment with our player guest, Ask the Coach. We'll do that in a little bit, but first, I want to get to know you a little bit better. Denison, Texas. What was life like in high school football? Like we hear Texas high school football is second to none. What was it like in Denison, Texas for Caleb Heavner?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, when they say Texas high school football is different, it definitely is. I remember my first high school game at Denison, Texas, there was like 13,000 people there.
Wow.
It was on Fox Sports. So, no, Denison was a great time for me. Had a lot of great coaches and great teammates that I still talk to this day. A lot of guys who are still playing college football. But, no, Denison's a great town. They love their football, that's for sure. It's a little bit like Hays when it comes to that.
Well, you're the top passer in Denison high school football history, over 4,100 yards in your career. So you had a pretty good career. How did you find Fort Hays State? How'd that process go, and how'd you end up being a Tiger?
Yeah, the QB coach at the time who recruited me here was Coach Zoda.
Okay.
He came to one of our spring football practices. I saw Chance Fuller had long hair and was from Texas, so I decided, I might as well come here. But no, he came on a house visit later, and then I came on my visit. I think it was December 3rd, and I loved Coach Brown, how much he loves football. That's what I'm about. It's just a place who loves football. And I think it was the Lord telling me, like, hey, man, like, this is the spot. And, I never had a doubt, and I've loved it ever since.
Well, Chance is now on the staff at CSU Pueblo, so you'll get to see him next week. He now wears his hair much shorter.
Yeah.
And I saw that on his bio photo. It almost didn't recognize him. Yours is shorter. Why went into that decision? Was that a big deal? It comes out a little bit, but not as long as it was when you first got here. What all went into that decision? Because that had to be, talking with the other players who've had longer hair, that's hard to do.
Yeah, no, it's probably the biggest decision I've made in my life. No, it's really windy, and that got on my nerves a lot. So I just decided to cut it. I couldn't do the wind anymore.
Fair enough. When the offensive line, the big bushy beards were in for a while, that seemed miserable to me. So I can't.
Not fun.
Yeah, I noticed that's kind of gone away. All right, we're going to bring Coach Brown back up here, put on the third headset. A new segment we're going to have with our player guests, Ask the Coach. So this is a chance for Caleb to ask Coach Brown anything he wants. It could be about his playing days. It could be about his coaching philosophy, anything. So, Caleb, the stage is yours. Your chance to ask Coach Chris Brown and Ask the Coach.
All right.
Good luck.
And there'll be no ramifications.
The team will like this question.
Okay.
How many games in college did you play with a broken neck?
I didn't know it was broken, so 8.
8?
About 8.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was in the middle of the season. Then we got to the playoffs, went to a national championship, and still played with it.
Yeah, that's why we're tough.
That's why we're tough. It starts at the top, and I can attest because you played twice against Fort Hays State.
Yep.
One was because that first year, and I was doing color then, but I swear it was just you and Cooper Harris because it felt like every other tackle was Chris Brown or Cooper Harris, and it was you guys pitch day blew out 4 days. Then there was a tie the next year at Louisville. Great football game. So was it that season? Because that was the year you guys went to the championship, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was that season. It was right around that. I can't remember which game it was.
Right.
But it was just, I hit the ground, kind of went in a little bit of convulsions, a little bit of a seizure, and went to the sideline, just thought it was a stinger, and that's what we played it off as. It was a stinger the entire time, and then I just started having some problems a little bit, and then went to talked to Doc, and we got that all fixed up now, so we know exactly what happened. So didn't know at the time that it was that until probably about 8-9 years ago.
Wow.
Figured it out, yeah.
A little bit different now, but
yep.
But I think you're right. You mentioned it. The team gets its toughness from its head coach. And,
100%.
Exactly. And it kind of is still – and he gets a little crazy on the sideline once in a while. I'm imagine you guys maybe feed off that a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I definitely think our kickoff team is very Coach Brown-like, and our defense and offense and, everything is Coach Brown-like. So
Very good. Great question. Appreciate you doing that, and really appreciate you coming by here this morning. I know getting here in the morning on a Monday especially not always the easiest, but really appreciate it, Caleb. Pleasure to get to know you a little bit better. Boy, we can't wait till Thursday night to see you out there in the field in the Tigers and get the season off to a good start.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
There you go. That's Caleb Heavner, Fort Hays State quarterback, the junior out of Denison, Texas, our player guest. We'll take a another break. We'll talk more with Coach Chris Brown, preview the offense a little bit, and then take a look at Thursday's opener with Angelo State. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop. Order by phone. Use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Just east of the Fort Hays State campus on 8th Street, the Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. More Tiger Talk next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle. Second and goal from the 8 for Angelo. The quarterback's going to keep it, runs to the outside, gets wrapped up and taken down. Jonah Smith, the redshirt junior out of Plainville. Yeah, more of the action from last year with Angelo State. The Rams will make a return trip to Lewis Field this Thursday night. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but welcome back to Tiger Talk in studio today. Certainly glad to have you a part of it for our first program. Get a program reminder. Next week will be on Tuesday because of the Labor Day holiday, and then we'll be on Mondays the rest of the football and basketball season here on Tiger Talk on Tiger Radio Mix 103.3. Well, good to talk to Caleb Heavner, and we've had a chance to visit with him before, first time on this program. Just a great young man. You can see why. Obviously, you have to have some skills to play quarterback at this level, but just visiting with him, you can see why he's such a good leader and such a good quarterback. Just a great young man, and really excited to see him on the field going into this opener on Thursday night.
I wish they were all Caleb, right? I mean, he's just he has it all. I mean, just his demeanor, his work ethic, his relationship with his players, not just on his side of the ball, but also the defensive side of the ball, even with special teams guys as well. I mean, he has that true leadership skill that a lot of guys don't have, and I mean he's a football junkie. I mean, he continuously is watching film. Every single day he'll get the scripts from Coach Ross, and you'll see him sitting on the couch out front in the lobby, and he's sitting there writing it down, going through all the routes and all the coverages and who he's going to hit. And the kid just lives and breathes football. And then he's also a 3.5, 3.8 student, which just talks about who he is and as a man and as a person, and just a really, really, really good person, but probably even a better football player, really. Yeah,
he came on mid-season last year. You made the change, and he just took off. Went 5-1 in his 6 starts, and that one loss was a fluke to Pittsburgh State,
Yep.
And just a great game. But just having a guy back at that position, what does that do for the offense going into the year? Because we heard about how he led the summer workouts and all those things.
I think it's just the confidence and the leadership, and building confidence in those guys, and just the communication amongst the offensive linemen, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, and it all goes in hand to hand. And he's built that through the summer with the team workouts and the team competitions, and the regular team plays where offense versus defense and the Skelly. I mean, just those things. It just gets a team ready. Shows that they have a guy that's truly bought in and has their back, and we need to have that same buy-in as Caleb does, and this thing will roll.
Let's talk about the offense a little bit. I guess the big question mark is running back. Shane Watts has graduated, but what a great story that was, shifting from defense to offense, All-American running back, and just such an integral part of the offense. And getting signed by a CFL team, then getting a shot with the Patriots, and it'll be fun to see where his career ends up, because I'm feeling it's not over yet. But I mean, I don't know if you can replace a player like him and all he did, but running back would probably be the biggest question mark, just because there is no Shane Watts this year.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we've had some really good ones. Kenneth Naheem, Shane Watts. I mean, there's been a ton of guys that have come through this program that have done really, really well for us. I mean, Soto was really good for a year as well, and then he kind of got banged up a little bit, and that kind of pulled him back. But Shane's hard to replace. I mean, he's a talented kid. He's a hard worker. I mean, he's in the film room all the time as well. And we got some guys, and it's just who's going to be the guy that steps up and takes that leadership role and takes over that position. And you got Travis Dixon, you got Josh Clark, you got Kean Miller, you got Curtis Douglas, and there's a couple others as well. But who wants to be the guy, and who wants to step on the field and take ownership of that and be the every down back, and not just a rotational back.
And we talked about it with the defense. talk about the quarterback, the receivers, all that. It all starts up front. And you return 3 starters from last year, a couple of all-conference, but you lose a couple of pretty good guys. A few players got some minutes because of injuries last year. How do you feel about the offensive line?
I think they're solid. I mean, very solid. I mean, they're strong. They're physical. They've been with each other for a long time, so the communication is there. Coach Bolden's done a great job of getting them on the same page and making that group more physical and more aggressive. And I think they're really talented. I think it's a pretty athletic. I mean, for big guys, they're really athletic and they move really well. And they're strong and they move people. And that's what you have to do on the offensive line is move people. And then just give Caleb some time. And they've done that. Through this fall camp, they gave Caleb enough time to get through his reads and make the throws that he needs to make. So I'm excited about that group.
And a receiving core. I mean, you lose 2 of your top 3 receivers, Jayton Horace, and then one was Watts as a running back. You've got some guys who some returning starters, Jabari Lewis, a younger player, Ryan Allen back. I know Keyshawn Dooley saw some time as the season went along. You've got some new faces mixed in there as well. Your thoughts on the receiving core?
I think it's pretty talented as well, especially with Ryan Allen being this is his 4th year.
Yeah.
And the way that guy works, I mean, him and Caleb, I have to turn the lights off at practice every night to make sure that they leave, because if I don't, they'll stay out there all night long. But they even throw it in the dark when we're out there trying to get better. But that's who those 2 are. But Ryan Allen's been a big part of that. Jabari's really grown into a young man that we can go to and count on, and Keyshawn's getting better every single day as well. So, but I think that group's really talented. I think there's a good rotation of guys that we can, bring in and out, and with a few additions that we had, through this summer, I think we're even better.
And tight end, we talked about it with Caleb Corman, a pretty good place to start. Been through a lot going into his senior year. Cade Evans played a little bit last year. I know he was dinged up a little bit, but looks like he's back. And tight end's always been an integral part of this offense.
It really has. I mean, they're a big part of what we do offensively. We just don't want them to be blockers. They've got to be able to catch the ball as well. So, we put them in a lot of situations that are tough, and we ask them to do a lot of different things. And they have to know a lot about football, whether it's route running or whether it's blocking. And Kel's been a big part of that for the last 4 years. And it was a joy for me when I was coaching tight ends to be in that room with him. And then now Coach Murphy's taken over and done a great job with those guys.
All right, ask you about the special teams. That I guess you took about question marks. That'll be another one. You have a new kicker, a new punter, because you graduated a couple pretty good ones in Carson Art and Parker Jenke, who were very, very solid at those 2 positions. Looks like it's been a pretty open competition to fill those roles.
Yeah, it has. The kicking was pretty much solidified with David. I mean, he's done a great job with the Oklahoma State transfer. I mean, he's a good kid, good head on his shoulders, and he's really athletic, and he's got a strong leg. And just the other day we did a couple 2-minute situations where he had to make both field goals to win the game, and he knocked them both right through. So, I mean, he's got a strong leg. So I really like that kid. I just like his attitude and the way he approaches every single kick, with confidence and his breathing techniques and getting himself ready to make that kick. And then the punting right now, there's still a battle right now in the punting room. So that might be a week-to-week thing. Who's more consistent, during warm-up, and whoever's making the best kicks during warm-up might be the guy.
All right, we're going to take another break, our last one of the program. We did have a question submitted. We're going to get to that when we come back, and then we'll also preview Thursday night's home opener and season opener against Angelo State. Tiger Talk brought to you by Royal Roofing, the #1 local roofing company. Roofing, guttering, siding, and windows. Call today for a free estimate. Give your home the Royal treatment with Royal Roofing. Our final segment on our first Tiger Talk of the year coming up next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Tired of equipment that's seen better days? Or maybe you have a project that requires a bigger machine than you own. This is Blake from United Rentals and Hayes, and we have you covered. Whether you're a contractor, a farmer, or working on your own project, we've got the machinery you need. Big or small, and everything in between, you can rent it for a day, a week, or a month. And if you're looking to own, we have a huge inventory of reliable used equipment for sale. Plus, we can service and repair the equipment you already own. Stop by United Rentals on South Vine and Hayes. We're your one-stop shop for rentals, used equipment sales, and repairs.
Smith the throw to the end zone. It's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Kel Williams. The throw was a little bit high. Williams wanted the flag. He doesn't get it. And Fort Hays State gets a stop on 4th down. They'll take over at their own 9-yard line. That was a big defensive stop late in the fourth quarter of that game with Angelo a year ago. We'll preview them in just a quick second. We did have a question for Coach, and it involves the new athletics complex and how that maybe has affected recruiting. I know you haven't moved in yet. It's still being built, but I think fans going out to Lewis Field are going to be shocked at the size and how far that's come along. But I'd imagine it's probably too soon to see the effect, but it's got to have a positive impact when you get the new locker room and all of that completed.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even last year, just being able to see, the structure kind of being there with recruits coming in, they could actually see it being built and something that they'll be able to use here in the future. So that was a huge, benefit for us last year on getting some of these kids that we got, because we got some really talented kids last year. And I think just years going ahead, we'll have some game day visits as well, kids coming up and to our games and being able to see that thing go up. But it is a pretty cool facility. I mean, just logistically, it's going to help us out tremendously with everyday processes of watching film and meetings and things like that with our players, and the treatment as well that they're going to be able to get with Nate down in the training room. But it is state of the art, and it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the sports medicine is going to advance Fort Hays State to another level that they just limitations in space have not been able to do. So that'll be a need. When you go to the game Thursday night, the windows are starting to go in. If you haven't been by and seeing that, it is pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see how that affects the wind, because that blocks now that south end zone except for a little corner there. Have you been able to tell in practice? Is there a different effect on the ball when you're moving that way?
It has a little bit. It whips through there just a little bit from that south end, from the southwest end there. But it just depends on which way the wind's blowing. If it's really blowing straight from the south, where we're usually pretty good. But if it's a north wind, it kind of a northeasterly wind, will kind of pull through there as well. So it's just hopefully just figuring our kickers figuring those things out and adjusting to the wind and understanding the wind. But it does block it pretty good. All
right, let's talk about Angelo State. 9-3. They lost to UN Emporia, then ran the table, won the Lone Star, made the playoffs. And last year you faced two quarterbacks. They had Braden Fuller and Caden Smith both play. Both guys are back, and Fuller went on to be the Lone Star Conference Player of the Year. That's got to be a challenge, knowing they both have a probably good chance to get on the field against you on Thursday.
Yeah, they do, and they're both very talented young men, and Braden's put on some weight as well. He's gotten bigger, which is, he was a big kid already, but now he's even bigger, and he runs really well, and he throws the ball really well. So it'll be, I'm sure we'll see both of them, but I think Braden probably the main guy that we see.
And you look at them last year, their defense was outstanding, one of the top defenses in the country. Kind of like you, they've lost some key personnel, but they've got a lot of guys who played a lot of snaps back. It was a low-scoring defensive tussle last year, and well, you look on paper, certainly has the potential to be that way again.
Yeah, it does. They're tough up front with their defensive line. Big, strong, athletic, fast. Secondary is very skilled. They got some really long, lanky kids in the back end. Their linebackers run well too. So, and then offensively, there's so many different things that they throw at you that you have to be prepared for with unbalanced sets and shifts and motions. So, we got to be set and be ready to go.
And week one, there's a lot of, I'm sure, adjusting on the fly, because there's probably going to be 2 or 3 things that you didn't plan for that they may be showing you have to adjust to.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't give up the big play defensively. We got to create some big plays offensively, not turn the ball over, create some turnovers, and be great on special teams. That's usually week one.
All right, sounds good. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Can't wait till Thursday night. Tigers at Angelo State. We'll talk to you before the game.
Thanks, Gerard. Appreciate you.
Chris Brown, coach of the Tigers. Fort Hays State, Angelo State, 7 o'clock Thursday. We'll have it right here on Tiger Radio Mix 103.3. Auto World pregame gets it all started at 6 o'clock. We'll talk to you next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. We'll see you then, everyone.